Let's go over my 5 best and 5 worst things about the new Umidigi Power. Follow me on Instagram at KevinBreezeTV. Please join the Kevin Breeze Tech community on Facebook to chat about budget smartphones, ask questions, and help others. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and this is the new Umidigi Power. This device recently came out, and I've had a great experience so far with using it. Throughout my time of using it though, I've noticed 5 specific things that I like the best about it, and 5 things that are the worst about it. Let's first go over the best things. Number 1 is the material on the back side. Now I know some people might be discouraged that we don't have glass or even a polished material on the back side here, but this material is actually really awesome. So this is a polycarbonate material. It has kind of a nice frosted finish on the outside and actually feels really soft to the touch. So this is the same material that's found on the Umidigi F1 and F1 Play, and I just really like it a lot. In addition to that, we have this really awesome gold color. Now you can get this device in both gold and black, so you'll have to go with whichever of those two you prefer, but I personally am a big fan of the gold. It looks really nice, and what's especially good about this surface is that it really doesn't absorb any fingerprints. That's something that really annoys me a lot with phones like the LG Stylo 5 and others, is that fingerprints really absorb into the back, and you get this both with shiny materials and also matte finishes like this too with other phones out there. So I really like that this seems to be immune to absorbing fingerprints. The second thing that I really like about the Umidigi Power is the great looking display. Now this device features a 6.3 inch display coming in at 1080p. It actually features a 409 pixel per inch rating, and the display itself comes in at a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. So it's kind of a taller display, but at the same time just looks really good with awesome colors, and it's super bright and crisp. It's pretty amazing that at $139.99 we're even able to get a 1080p display on a phone, because there's other phones like the Moto G7 Power that are selling above $200 that still have a 720p display. So the fact that the Umidigi Power has a 1080p display at such a low price tag is truly a miracle. The third thing that I really like about the Umidigi Power is its overall form factor, especially the notch on the top. So typically, I'm not a big fan of notches because they take up a lot of space on the device, and I especially like how some of the newer devices out there like the OnePlus 7 Pro have a little pop-up camera and there's no bezels. But this is almost the perfect compromise because we do have a notch at the top, of course, but it's a very tiny teardrop notch and it hardly takes up any space at all. So even though there is a notch here, there's plenty of room to have the notification icons and different things like that. Of course, you can see also up here, we have the 4G LTE, we have the battery percentage, we have the vibration indicator, and all kinds of good stuff up here, and we still have a notch. So I just really like how it's a tiny notch, we have a very solid and good screen to body ratio with the phone, and overall, they just designed this thing really well. It's just a really good looking phone. My fourth favorite thing about the Umidigi Power is the massive battery inside of this device. It really is a beefy battery, coming in at 5,150 milliamp hours. That's pretty incredible. That's more battery capacity than you'll find with the Moto G7 Power, for example. I actually just did a comparison video between this device and that device, so check that out after this video. But 5,150 milliamp hours is one of the biggest battery capacities I've really seen in a long time. So you don't see that very often. It's way bigger than the battery capacity that you'd find on an iPhone and other devices as well. So with that, you're gonna be able to use this thing for quite a while before the battery drains. I know that in my testing, I have not managed to completely drain the battery, despite me having an active SIM card in it and using it for calls and data. My fifth favorite thing about the Umidigi Power is the 64 gigabytes of internal storage. And if that's not enough for you, you can always put in a micro SD card for additional storage. But having 64 gigabytes in this device right out of the gate is really great. There's nothing better than having internal storage. I'm sorry, but like it's nice having the ability to put in an SD card, but nothing beats having a bunch of internal storage on the phone. and 64 gigabytes is pretty incredible considering the low price tag of this device. That's double the amount of storage that you find with the LG Stylo 5, which is a much more expensive device because the Stylo 5 is 32 gigabytes of storage. Same thing goes for the Moto G7 Power. At least the US version of the phone has 32 gigs of storage. There is 64 with the international version, but that's a whole separate thing to talk about. But having 64 gigabytes of storage in a device with such a low price tag is truly incredible. Now, life is not a fairy tale, and there's bound to be some things about this phone that are not good. Now, the good thing is that the things that aren't good about this phone really aren't that severe. The first thing is that there's no wireless charging with the device. I'm a big fan of wireless charging, and I understand that this is an inexpensive device and they probably couldn't afford to include wireless charging. But I know that the Umidigi One Max, for example, that's probably about $40 more than this phone, does have wireless charging, and that worked really well when I had that phone. I use wireless charging all the time with my iPhone as well, and it would be really cool to see Umidigi implement wireless charging in all of their phones. That would be a great feature to see, and it would really help them stand out against their various budget counterparts. So having wireless charging would be really great for the Umidigi Power. Another thing about the Umidigi Power that I wish I could change is having the option for a red color. Now, this is the Umidigi F1 Play, and it has the same material on the back, but this material is, of course, red. And you can just see how bright and vibrant this color is. It really looks good. It's really an amazing color, and I'm a big fan of it. Now, I do like the gold, don't get me wrong. This looks really good in gold, but I'd love to at least have the option to get this in red. Now, you can also get this in black too, but again, just look at this red color. Really nice, really good looking, and you could just imagine how the Power would look in this color. The third thing that I wish was different about the Umidigi Power is that this phone is not water resistant. I wish it had water resistance, especially nowadays where everyone likes to be in the pool and go on their phone at the same time. I know I like doing that with my phones that are at least waterproof. I usually don't risk it with phones that are not waterproof or water resistant. So it'd be nice to have at least some level of water resistance with the Umidigi Power. It doesn't have to be completely waterproof, but it would be nice to know that if I at least brought this phone to the pool and maybe someone splashed some water onto it, maybe it didn't get completely submerged underwater, but maybe if it got a water splash, that I would be completely fine. But unfortunately, this has not received an IP rating, and I'm pretty sure that when designing this phone, Umidigi did not implement any sort of water resistance. So maybe in the next version of the Umidigi Power, we'll see that. The fourth thing that I wish was different about the Umidigi Power is having the ability to use this phone with all 4 major US carriers. Now, some people have had mixed results with using this phone with Verizon, but officially, Umidigi claims that this phone will work with AT&T, T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, Cricket, all of those GSM carriers. And that's completely true. So if you're with those carriers, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to get great cellular performance with this phone. In fact, I'm using it with Cricket Wireless right now, and it does work really well. I'm able to get great speeds, so that's really fantastic. Now, some people have mentioned that they have managed to use Verizon with various Umidigi devices. I personally have not had a chance to test Verizon with this yet, but I'd imagine that if Umidigi was confident enough that Verizon would work in all situations, they would list it on the listing as a compatible carrier. So yes, Verizon will probably work in most situations, especially if you live in kind of an urban area. But once you get out to the rural areas where there's less carrier bands out there, you probably won't really be able to use Verizon. And as far as Sprint goes, I have no clue. I have not heard anything about anyone using Sprint or Boost Mobile, which is part of Sprint, with Umidigi devices, especially the Umidigi Power, so I have not heard of that. Now, some of the competitors, like the Moto G7 Power, for example, specifically state that the device will work with all 4 major US carriers. So I'd like to see Umidigi kind of step it up a notch so that they can officially certify this phone for all carriers in the US. And finally, my last thing that I wish was different about the Umidigi Power is autofocus in video mode. So the phone does take great videos. The quality is very good, especially for this price range. However, there is no autofocus. So in a situation like this, maybe I'm getting closer to the plant. Ideally it would focus in on the leaves, but instead it stays in the same fixed focus. Now, of course, I can tap on the display and it will refocus things, and that works really well, but that's not autofocus. And on some other recent Umidigi devices, like the Umidigi F1 Play, for example, That also didn't have autofocus at first in video mode, but they eventually rolled out a software update that added that to the phone. So that makes me think that this phone probably is capable of doing autofocus in video mode. They just haven't implemented it yet. So maybe in the future there will be a software update, but I really would like to see that because it will make the video recording experience much better. And the camera I'm actually using to record this video is the LG G7 Thin Q, and this has really good autofocus, as you can see. So having autofocus in video mode can really be helpful in certain situations. So this concludes my 5 best and 5 worst things about the Umidigi Power. Overall, this is a really awesome phone. I know I really had to stretch a bit to find 5 bad things about it, because there really aren't bad things about the phone, especially for this price. At $139.99, this is an amazing value, and there's really no room to complain at that. I mean, really, the phone over-delivers for the price. So this is really nitpicking, and I really do recommend this phone. It's an awesome phone. Make sure to check out my other videos, though, about it to learn more about the device. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Again, not trying to hurt anyone's feelings with the things that I wish were different about the phone. But if they did implement those things, it would really take this device to the next level. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to buy this device, take a look at the link in the video description. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.